Morning sickness is one of the most Googled pregnancy experiences for a reason. It hits hard, it hits fast, and nobody really tells you when it's going to stop. So today we're going to walk through exactly when morning sickness starts, why it happens, when it peaks, and the part you really came for, when it actually ends. First, can we just address the name, because calling it morning sickness is honestly a little cruel. For a lot of us, it shows up in the morning, sure, but it also shows up at noon, at 3 p.m., and definitely at 9 p.m. when you're trying to eat dinner. So why does this happen at all? The short answer is, your hormones are doing something enormous right now. In early pregnancy, a hormone called HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, which is basically the hormone your pregnancy test detects, rises really fast. That HCG spike is what most researchers point to as the main driver of nausea. Your body is working so hard to build a whole new person that your system basically goes into overdrive. And your stomach is one of the first places that feels it. Okay, when does morning sickness actually start? For most people, nausea tends to show up somewhere around week 6 of pregnancy. That's about 2 weeks after a missed period, if your cycle is roughly 28 days. Some people notice that queasy feeling as early as week 4 or 5, basically right around the time they're taking that pregnancy test. And some don't feel it until a little later, closer to week 8. Here's the thing nobody tells you clearly enough. Every pregnancy is genuinely different. You might have a friend who was sick from week 5 straight through her first trimester and another friend who barely felt anything. Both of those are normal, but for most people, the worst of it, the peak, tends to land somewhere between weeks 8 and 10. That's when HCG is at its highest, and honestly, that's when I felt like I was just surviving each day one cracker at a time. And then, here is the part that made me want to cry with relief. For most people, nausea starts to ease up around week 12. That's the end of the first trimester, and it lines up with HCG levels beginning to level off. A lot of people feel significantly better by week 14. You cross into the second trimester and it's like, oh, there I am again. Your appetite comes back, smells stop being a personal attack, and you might actually want to eat a real meal. But here's the part nobody warned me about. For some people, morning sickness lasts longer than the first trimester. Studies suggest around 1 in 5 people still feels nausea into the second trimester, sometimes up to 20 weeks or beyond. If you're 13 weeks and still feeling awful, you're not failing at pregnancy and you're not doing something wrong. Some people just take longer to turn the corner, and that is okay. Now, there is a more severe form called hyperemesis gravidarum, which just means extreme pregnancy vomiting, far beyond typical nausea. It's less common, but it's real, and it's not something you just push through alone. If you are vomiting multiple times a day and can't keep any fluids down, if you're feeling dizzy or faint, or if you've lost weight, those are signs that are worth a call to your provider. You don't have to white-knuckle this, so what actually helps while you're in the thick of it? Small, frequent snacks tend to work better than big meals. An empty stomach can make nausea worse, which is why crackers before you even get out of bed became the classic move. Ginger is one of the most well-researched options. Ginger tea, ginger chews, even ginger ale if the carbonation helps. Cold water, or water with a slice of lemon, is something a lot of people find easier to stomach than plain room temperature drinks. Strong smells are one of the biggest triggers. Perfume, certain cooking smells, even someone's lunch at the office. If you can identify your personal triggers and give yourself permission to avoid them for a few weeks, do it without guilt. And please, rest. Fatigue makes nausea worse. This is the season of napping without apology, going to bed at 8 p.m. and letting the dishes wait. Your body is doing something extraordinary right now. Oh, and one more thing I really want you to hear. If you're not feeling sick at all, that does not mean something is wrong. Some people sail through the first trimester with barely a wave of nausea, and their pregnancies are perfectly healthy. So here's the honest timeline. Nausea often starts around week 6, peaks between weeks 8 and 10, and for most people eases up between weeks 12 and 14. For some, it goes a little longer, but it does end. What you're going through right now is hard, really hard, even when it's common. Growing a person is not small work, and surviving the first trimester on crackers and sheer determination counts as thriving. Be gentle with yourself. And just remember, the same body that has you face down in the snack cabinet at 6 a.m. is also busy building a heart, a spine, and 10 tiny, perfect fingers. Morning sickness is honestly just your body saying, I am working incredibly hard right now. Thank you for noticing. If you found this helpful, be sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.